Good afternoon on what is a hot, sunny but breezy day. It is Thursday the 14th of July and I have a box to get open, so I'm going to need a knife for this. Just reach behind me for that. Let's see if I can find where am I supposed to be making the cut. There we go. Just open this up, and what we have inside is this, and it is a package of content for well, I can tell you essentially. Oh yeah, show you that and that, give you a clue. If you know the kind of trade dress and the look, then you'll know that this is for Mausritter. So let's get this open to find out what it contains. So still unpacking it. Here we go. So what we have is Bernpyle Year One, an unofficial Swords and Whiskers design, okay, compatible with Mausritter. Now Mausritter is an old school Renaissance style role-playing game, stripped right back as far as you can go, in which you play real mice, anthropomorphic mice, surviving and adventuring in the real world, having to deal with essentially the effect of a landscape which is much bigger than they are. So we've got cats and humans and in the environments which have been changed by humans and so on. So you might actually be role-playing in of all things, a grandfather clock, or the human's pipe network of pipes, that sort of thing. So, but Bernpyle, an unofficial Swords and Whiskers fanzine, has been going for several issues, and it has collected all of the content into this one little book. So it has been 1 year since the mice of the earldom of Bernpyle ventured out into the wild, exploring and bringing tools and culture to the wide world. Here we are now. Bernpyle has existed for a collection of Mausritter third-party licensed designs. Within these 6 issues, Matt has introduced us to many locations, adventure sites, interested friends and foes, magic items, and so much more. Containing this book is an anthology of the best designs brought to the community. And basically said, I am blessed, I'm beyond blessed, and hope this anthology of my Mausritter content brings your games hours of endless fun. And essentially we said, we have been brave mice in a dangerous world, and we have survived year 1. And so what we have here is essentially we've got advice on things like proficiency dice, and basically just sort of like setting up the details of some of the campaign, things like starting species tables, things you can buy at various shops and outlets. Before we get into basically the thank you letter page, basically the credits, that sort of thing, and everyone who supported it, and then a forward before we actually get the table of contents. And then we have the earldom of Bernpyle, basically a little a little hex crawl. Any hex crawl is kind of big for the mice, but essentially by other role-playing standards, it's a little hex crawl suitable for your mice. And then basically just give a background of all the descriptions, just essentially thumbnail descriptions more than anything before you get into them in more detail on the various locations. Bernpyle itself is detailed here. And we've got a bestiary, including fairy scouts and soldiers, fairy princess war party, rat outcast and things like that. Again, nicely illustrated. And then we have a grisly revelation at Badger Burrow, which is the first adventure. So, essentially, here's the adventure location, all the details, history, and then we've got the full map itself. And the full description was sort of like, and you've even got hooks and locations and so on, and all the descriptions of all the individual locations. So you open up with a sort of like well, if you're thinking about role-playing terms, a small dungeon at 20 locations, or so. I mean, yeah, no, 24 locations, 25 locations on this map. That's a huge dungeon. That's a huge dungeon for the mice, quite literally. And then we have, essentially we all get right down to essentially the band of mind into the grizzly's den and the muskrat cave, underground rivers and so on, all the way down to sort of like the furthest reaches of the mines, and it comes with a bestiary as well. And then we have items and outcomes from that adventure, and this is followed by the murky mysteries of mice in marshes, the next adventure. So again, this itself is another little mini hex crawl, but it's just what they've done here is broken up this hex into diamond shapes. That's a nice touch. Do like that. It gives it sort of like a nice sort of like sort of regular pattern to it. It's a nice way of breaking down the one hex into something a bit more into sort of like regular shapes. So we have swamp crawl mechanics, because this is not a dungeon, but it's a sandbox, a swamp crawl, and you've got a Kopu settlement, including with a new bestiary, and that really has sort of like a nice little sense of the fantastic to it. It's sort of like almost, I would say, ancient, reminiscent of sort of like ancient Greece, or even sort of like Central America, that sort of thing, Aztec or Mayan or something like that. But we have the Missing Wonders who turn us the wise, again, device and more. Border watchtowers and what they look like and what form they take. Very similar to sort of like, I presume they sort of like kind of look like a bit like bird feeders, and then we have Phalanx. And encounters with that. We have a not so still night Christmas caper. And even it's only sort of like its own sort of like snowy locale. And of course we have Mousetrap. How to make a detter mouse, and so on. So rodents and recreations, alternate backgrounds, foraging whilst in human settlements. So again, just sort of like different mini rules and so on. We also have the mouse rules of combat, and then mouse pounds, a tactical brief for warbound scale mounts. So you can scale it up and really bring into sort of like the full, almost like a woodland battlefield, and then time and resource tracking in the veins, and the magic from the Mayfield. Lots of different elements which, you know, you as the game master for Mausritter can bring into your game. And then we have Songvogel, which is a mouse field guide to songbirds and other perching avians. So a bit like the Mouse Panzer, you can ride creatures like tortoises or turtles. So basically dogs, armadillos, tortoises, and so on as your battle steed. Here now you can take the air aboard various different birds. And then we have rules for Fey warriors. Instead of mouse, or mice, sorry. And then for mouse for home for Bernpyle, and that's essentially here's a list of sort of like content available for the Mausritter, and lots of different other questions and so on, answers, and just general background here, sort of advertising at the back there. So it also includes as well, what's this, what have we got here? Poster? Yeah, it's a poster. Let's try and find what this is. The Wind of the Willows Adventures, Spark Tables, not difficult to see what we've got here. You've got two of these Wind of the Willows Adventures. Again, suggesting possible other ideas. The Shadow Beyond the Cavern, a Veins of the Earth adventure compatible with Mausritter. So that takes the mice deep into the earth. Again, compatible with Mausritter, but a different kind of adventure you can run your mice through. And of course, you've got these further resources which you cut out and use and basically put on your Mausritter character sheets. So that might be your frog armor or peanut butter, so on, just lots of different items that you can find and actually now physically represent on your sheet. And there's several of these, so just adding further to the Bernpyle setting. And then so you want to build a fortress, and again this is really for whether or not you want to you as the game master want to create a fortress for your NPCs or a home for your player characters, or perhaps they want to create one. They've been out the adventures and now they want to make a home of their own, raise mice families and accept others into their home and protect them and so on. You can do it using so you want to build a fortress. So that is Bernpyle Year One. Great little resource, I would imagine, for if you're running a Mausritter campaign. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you see me out here with a box and a book or game which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit that subscribe button. Meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I'll be back soon with another one. Bye for now.